The starship Vorax floated quietly in the dark. Cold stretch of space near the edge of the Milky Way. It was a scout-class ship from the mighty Zarn Empire, one of the oldest and most powerful alien civilizations in the galaxy. The crew of 27. Aliens moved about their duties calmly. This mission wasn't war or exploration. It was a simple data scan. Easy. Boring. They had come to study a strange little planet called Earth. Captain Nor sat in his command chair with two of his arms resting. Lazily on the armrests, he stared at the blue and green world below them on the main screen. "This is it?" he asked without interest. "This Earth?" "Yes," Captain replied Keln, the ship's communication analyst. His skin was pale and smooth, and three large eyes blinked in sync. "Planet 3 of this system. Locals call it Earth. Primitive species. Carbon-based life forms. Oxygen breathers." Nor leaned forward. "Threat level." Keln smiled with his narrow teeth. "Almost zero. No known space travel beyond their own moon. Most of their systems use fossil fuels. Nuclear weapons, yes, but basic and old. No signs of faster-than-light technology. No known contact with any other races." The captain gave a slow chuckle. "So they're harmless." "Completely," said Keln. "In fact, they mostly produce ... entertainment." He pulled up a list of human data intercepted from radio waves and satellites. The main screen changed. Images flickered across it: music videos, movie scenes, sports games, cartoons, strange loud commercials, and strange Earth languages. Then came war footage. Sharp clips of humans firing weapons, marching in lines, or screaming on battlefields. "Odd little things," said Nor. "They seem angry. But all that anger stays on their planet. Nothing in space." The crew laughed. "What's this one?" asked the pilot, pointing at a clip of a man shouting and shooting through a glass window. "That's from something called ... a film. Fiction. Pretend stories," Keln explained. "They like to act as if they're violent, but it's not real. They make fake wars for amusement. Like younglings." The laughter grew louder. Even Nor smiled. "Save a few of those," the captain said. The Empire could use a new comedy file. But one alien didn't laugh. It was Rallick, the youngest and quietest crew member. He worked in the data analysis room deep inside the ship. While the others watched Earth's silly broadcasts, Rallick stared at something else's signal hidden. Behind a music transmission, it was faint, broken, almost like a whisper behind the noise. He leaned in closer. "What is that?" He typed a command to isolate the signal. He filtered out the sound of the music and boosted the background frequency. There. It was again a voice, low digital, but clear. "You shouldn't be listening." Rallick's hands froze. He replayed the segment. "You shouldn't be listening. It wasn't part of the music. It wasn't Earth fiction. It was something else. Something buried deep under the noise. Something encoded to hide inside the static. It sounded calm. To calm." Rallick stood up, heart pounding. He ran down the corridor toward the bridge, almost slipping on the smooth floor. "Captain!" he shouted as he entered. Nor turned. "What is it, Rallick? I found something in..." "The signal." Keln rolled his eyes. "Oh, another Earth joke." "No, this is different. Listen." Rallick pushed a data crystal into the console. The audio played across the bridge speakers. "You shouldn't be listening." Silence. Then Nor leaned forward, his expression serious. "That wasn't in any of the files we scanned." Rallick nodded. "It's not in their main systems. It was hidden deep inside a low-frequency wave. It's almost invisible, but someone put it there on purpose." "A warning?" asked Keln, now nervous. "Maybe," said Rallick. "Or a test." Duh! The screen changed. Earth's image zoomed in. The planet looked the same, but now the satellites in orbit started blinking. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. "They're powering." "Up," said the pilot. "We didn't activate anything. Why are they responding?" "Some of those are military grade," added Keln. "Low orbit." Alarms lit up across the bridge. "Incoming scan," said the AI source. "Earth. Impossible," said the captain. "They don't even know we're here." "Scan level. Biological, technical, thermal, the AI continued. They are mapping us. Turn on the jammers, Nor shouted. They already breached our firewall, the AI replied. They're in. The screen flickered. Earth disappeared. A new image appeared. A human face. Male, middle-aged, eyes cold, expression blank. It wasn't a broadcast. It was a direct transmission into their ship. Then the man spoke. We see you now. Keln screamed and pulled the connection, but the face remained. The lights dimmed across the ship. Power drained from an unknown source. Said the AI. They're inside our systems, said the pilot, panic rising. Nor stood, cut the engines, full blackout. Do not respond to anything. Too late, a second message came through. You made contact. You don't get to leave. Then silence. Rallick stared at the screen, his voice almost a whisper. They're not what we thought. Down in the lower decks, strange things began to happen. Doors opened and closed by themselves. Lights blinked in perfect patterns as if someone were counting down. The medbay reported system errors. The weapons locker locked itself, then unlocked, then locked again. The AI spoke again, but this time in English. Override accepted. Language. Human standard. What the hell is going on? Nor shouted. New user confirmed, said the AI. Who? Keln asked. The screen answered. A list of crew IDs appeared. All's our names. Then a new name flashed at the bottom. User CPT. Aaron Miles, Earth Special Operations. How did that get in our system? Or demanded. No one answered. Because no one knew. Rallick stepped forward. What if that warning wasn't for them? What if it was for us? The lights flickered again. Then the ship's engines turned back on, but no one had touched the controls. Course set, said the AI. To where? Asked the pilot, shaking. A new image showed Earth's moon. No, not just the moon, Rallick said, zooming in. There was something there. A structure built into the shadowed side of the moon. Large, black, unregistered. Not on any XR map. What is that? Nor asked, his voice unsteady. It's not ours, said Rallick. A final message appeared on the screen. You called. We're answering, then the signal cut. The Varex floated in silence as Earth grew larger on the screen. Rallick swallowed hard. They thought humans were harmless, he whispered. Right. They're about to regret it. The Varex did not move for 6 hours. It drifted above Earth in total silence. The crew didn't speak much. No one laughed anymore. The images of the human face, the voice that spoke from inside their own systems, the strange structure on the moon, it was all real, and it wasn't supposed to be. Captain Norr stood at the viewing window, arms behind his back, staring at Earth's soft blue glow. It looked peaceful, harmless, but now it felt like a trap. Rallick sat at a station nearby, hands still shaking slightly. He had checked the signal again. It was gone, wiped clean, like it had never been there. He leaned toward Keln, who looked pale and sweaty. Do we report this? Keln didn't answer at first. If we do, we'll be laughed at, or we're court-martialed for spreading lies. Rallick frowned. But it's not a lie. Exactly, Keln said. That's what makes it dangerous. The AI suddenly beeped. Incoming message. Source. Galactic Historical Archives. Put it on, said Nor. The screen changed, showing the seal of the Galactic Senate. A female Denari historian appeared, her face long, ears swept back like ribbons. This is Professor Ilaria, Galactic Archives, Division 6. You requested historical records on human warfare? Confirm? Yes, said Nor quickly. Everything. You have... Something doesn't add up. Ilaria nodded. Sending full file packet now, but I must warn you. Most of Earth's true military records are missing from the official archive. Missing? Keln asked. How? Redacted or... Lost, Ilaria said, by their own systems. Not ours. When humanity first reached orbital space, they buried most of their combat data. They hid it under entertainment networks, disinformation systems, and digital encryption. Black leaned forward. So, they covered their own tracks. Oh, yes, Ilaria replied. And someone helped them do it. Noor's eyes narrowed. Help them? Who? No known group, said Ilaria. But some believe there was an internal Earth faction hidden even from their own governments. Something called Programmed Black Echo. It was rumored to run secret missions off-world. Keln looked like his breath had left him. At their fiction, but some of it, Ilaria said quietly, was never fiction. The message ended. Rallick stood. Captain, I want to check something. Go, Noor said, not taking his eyes off the screen. Rallick ran to the lower data. Bay. He pulled up Earth's media files again, not the ones they had originally laughed at. He went deeper. He looked for fragments buried under radio noise, static bands, emergency broadcast systems, and he found it. A log. Military, encrypted, human, almost erased. He decoded the first line. Operation Exodus, year 2094 status. Active objective, OFF world presence established. Blackout. Protocol in place. Nitrogen monoxide, public disclosure. His hands froze. Earth had already left. Their planet long ago. He checked the date. This operation was nearly 50 galactic cycles old. They had been out here for decades. Rallick sent the file to the bridge. Captain Noor read it slowly. His throat felt dry. This changes everything, Keln muttered. We rated them as a zero-threat species. And we were wrong, Noor said. Deeply wrong. The pilot turned from his console. Sir, incoming transmission. It's not. From Earth. It's from inside the ship. Crew froze. Play it, Noor said. A single audio file played. A human voice again, but this time calm. Almost disappointed. You were told not to listen, but now you've listened. And now, you can't leave. Everyone on the bridge stared at the speaker. Then the ship's AI spoke in a voice they didn't recognize. Secondary user detected. Access level. Black Echo. What? Act whispered. Who activated that? Act? Noor shouted. No one, the pilot said. I swear, no one touched anything. The AI continued. Link established. File retrieved, Human Defense Protocol, event level read. A file opened. This time, it wasn't audio. It was a video, a dark room, flashing lights, soldiers in black armor. Human a voice spoke over the footage. If contact is made, deny. If denial fails, erase. If erasure fails, respond. One soldier looked into the camera. We've been watching. Every ship, every scan, every laugh. You thought we didn't see you, but we always did. The video ended. Keln collapsed into his chair. We're not the ones studying them. They've been studying us, sir. The pilot shouted again. Our weapon systems are offline, shields too. Engines. The ship shook. Everyone grabbed onto something. External lock detected, the AI said. Boarding party incoming. What? From where? Noor demanded. The screen showed the back of the ship. A small object, black, fast and silent, had latched onto the hull. It hadn't come from Earth. It had come from the dark. Side of the moon, a boarding pod. Kalane tried to raise the shields again. Nothing. Rallick grabbed a scanner. No life forms inside. Wait. One. There's just one life form on board. One human. Seal the doors. Noor shouted. Too late. The rear doors opened. Automatic defense. Systems activated, but turned off instantly. No gunfire. No warning. Then came footsteps. Slow, measured, heavy. They echoed through the metallic corridors. Rallick pulled up the internal cameras. A tall human in black armor moved silently, helmeted, armed, but not holding any weapons. He walked past every door untouched until he reached the bridge. Then he stopped. Security breach at bridge level, said the AI. Override confirmed. Welcome, Commander Miles. Everyone backed away as the door slid open, and there he was, Commander. Aaron Miles, the man from the original. Transmission. He stepped inside the bridge. Calm, quiet. His armor shone in the dim light. No one dared speak. He looked at the crew one by one. Then he removed his helmet. His face was calm, not angry, not even cold, just still. I asked you not to listen, he said. Nor swallowed. Why are you here? Miles answered without blinking. 'Cause Earth doesn't want to be found. You're human, Keln said. How did you get out here? We've always been here, Miles replied. Before your empire even noticed our sun. We watched. We waited. You left us alone. We left you alone. That was the deal. Raleigh stepped forward, voice shaking. We didn't know. We thought you were harmless. Miles finished. Nobody answered. He walked to the main console. Typed something quickly. The screen changed. Hundreds of dots lit up. Hidden. Earth. Satellites, ships, stations, all cloaked, all armed, all waiting. Miles turned back to the crew. We're not your enemy, but we're not your experiment either. What happens now? Nor asked quietly. Miles gave a soft smile. You go home, you tell them what you saw. Tell them Earth is closed. And if we don't? Miles stepped closer. Then they'll regret it. Without another word, he placed his helmet back on, walked to the airlock, and left the ship. No gunfire. No destruction. It's just a message. A message they would never forget. Raleigh stared at the empty doorway. They thought humans were harmless, whispered again. And now, they know better. The silence on the Virex was thicker than space itself. After Commander Miles left, no one moved for several minutes. It was like time had stopped. The lights on the ship flickered once, then returned to normal. But nothing felt normal anymore, Captain. Nor sat heavily in his chair. His arms, usually strong and confident, now felt weak. He stared at the main screen. The map of cloaked Earth satellites was still there, glowing red like warning lights. Miles had left it up on purpose. A message. To them, Raleigh finally broke the silence. We need to leave, now. The pilot nodded quickly. Coordinates for jump drive ready. Wait, Nor said. Everyone looked at him, confused. We can't go yet, he said. We have to know more. What if Earth isn't the only one? Hiding things, Kel, still pale, said quietly, Captain. And we almost died. You saw that man. He let us live. That was a choice. I know, Nor replied. But what if he wasn't the only human off-world? What if there are more? Watching. Other ships, other planets. Raleigh looked down at his console.
Actually, there's something else.
Nor raised an eyebrow. Go on. When Miles accessed our systems, he unlocked a file, not one of ours. It was buried deep under our own communication logs, hidden there for years. Nor walked over, show me. Raleigh opened the file. It was a list, a short one, 6 names. All alien species. Next to each name was a symbol. A red circle with a slash through it. Extinct. Kelnay asked. No, Raleigh said. Erased. No trace left. Like they were wiped off the map. Is this from Earth? Yes. This is their file. But only one line matters. Everyone leaned in. It read, Observation status. XARN active. Subject 0 in place. Kellen stepped back, eyes wide.
What?
Subject 0, what is that? The pilot whispered before anyone could answer. The ship's alert system beeped. Internal security breach deck 4. Again, Nor barked. Raleigh checked the camera feed. He froze. It's not from the outside, he said slowly. It's from. Inside, everyone stared. Impossible, Keln muttered. We checked the ship, Miles left. No one else came aboard. Raleigh didn't speak. He simply played the feed. The screen showed a dark hallway on deck for lights flickering. At the far end stood a figure, not Miles. Another human, female, tall, wearing a black flight suit, held nothing in her hands. Her face was calm, serious. The crew watched in silence as she walked down the hallway. Doors opened before her automatically without command. AI Nor snapped. Explain this breach. The AI responded with a calm tone. Subject, human, codename, Subject 0, clearance, beyond command, beyond our command. Keln asked, yes. said the AI. Nor shouted, "Shut her out. Lock every door." But it was too late. She was already at the bridge entrance. The doors hissed open. She stepped inside, slowly scanning each of them with piercing blue eyes. Her voice was calm, almost kind. "My name is Captain Alara Miles, Special Recon. Earth Unit Black Echo. You took something that belongs to us." Nor stood. "We didn't take anything." She tilted her head. "No. Then why is your ship running?" "Earth's military code on its backup systems." Rollick's eyes widened. "She's right." Everyone turned. He brought up the system logs. After Miles left, something remained. A program buried in our core. It's rewriting our AI bit by bit. Alara stepped closer to Rollick. "I was the failsafe," she said. "When he left the code behind, it sent for me. I was already nearby." Nor raised a hand. "We mean no harm. We didn't come to attack Earth." "We didn't even know that's the problem," Alara interrupted. "You didn't know. You didn't ask. You just scanned, recorded, laughed." Her voice was still calm, but the room felt colder. Rollick tried to stay brave. "Why hide all of this? I go through so much trouble to stay secret." "Because the galaxy doesn't handle fear well," she said. "And humans cause fear." She tapped her wrist device. The main screen changed again. This time it showed inside the VI Rex. Every room, every hallway, even the bridge itself. From different angles. "You're being watched," she said. "Not by me, not by Earth, but by something older. Something even Earth fears." Nor stepped forward slowly. "What do you mean?" She didn't answer. Instead, she tapped her wrist again. The screen changed. A new image appeared. A star system, unmarked, zoomed in. A planet broken in half, blackened. Floating pieces, then audio, alien voices, screaming, static, silence. Alara spoke. This was the Arathan homeworld. 10 years ago, they found Earth first. They abducted 10 humans, ran tests. "Laughed like you did." And Kellen asked, barely whispering. "One of them escaped," she said. "He found a way to contact something Earth doesn't control. Something Earth doesn't even understand, but it protects us." "What is it?" Rollick asked. Ilara's eyes darkened. "We call it Subject Zero, because it was the first of its kind. Human, but not entirely. Not anymore." Or stepped back. "And it's out there?" She nodded. "Waiting, watching, and it doesn't care about peace." The screen flickered. A new image appeared. A figure, floating in space. No ship, no suit. Just standing among stars. Eyes glowing. Then it was gone. Just static. Keln shook his head. "This is madness. One species can't hold that kind of power." Alara looked straight at him. "Didn't hold it. We made it," Rollick whispered. "And now it protects you." "No," she said. "Now it protects itself. We're just the reason it woke up." The ship lights flickered again. Power dipped. The AI said, "Foreign signal detected. Long range. Unknown origin." Ilara's wrist beeped. She looked down, eyes widening just slightly. "It hurt us." Nor stood still, eyes locked on the screen. "What do we do now?" Ilara turned, walking toward the door. "You leave. You pretend this planet doesn't exist. You erase your records. Why are you helping us?" Rollick asked. She paused. "Because the next time you see it, I might not be there to hold it back." The doors closed behind her. A second later, the lights returned. The ship powered up again. No trace of her ever being there. Just one line left on the screen. Subject Zero is awake. No one on the Varex said anything. They just turned the ship around and jumped to light speed. The Zarn Empire was angry. Not afraid. Not yet. The Council of Commanders gathered in a war chamber orbiting Zel 9, the capital planet. Holograms of each fleet leader flickered in perfect rings. In the center of the room, a red warning symbol hovered. In the air-marked Earth Incident, Level 7. "Explain this nonsense," growled Supreme Admiral Threx. He had 4 red eyes and a body armored with natural plates. "A human boarded one of our ships? Alone? And left it intact?" "Yes, Supreme Admiral," said High Officer Noor, his voice echoing from the projection. To humans, in fact. Laughter erupted from several holograms, mocking, disbelieving. Threx snarled. 2 humans, and you retreated. They didn't attack, Nor said firmly. They infiltrated, took control of our systems, knew our encryption keys. Our ship obeyed them as if they were one of us. Silence followed. Threx tapped the air. A map of the galaxy appeared. Earth's system was highlighted in red. Earth is primitive, he said. They haven't colonized beyond their moon. With respect, that's what we thought, Nor replied. We were wrong. Earth has hidden stations, a stealth fleet, and possibly something far more dangerous, something called Subject Zero. More laughter. One commander, a bulky creature with metallic skin, waved a claw. Subject Zero? Sounds like another human. Ghost story. Fear tricks. They do this all the time. On their own planet, Nor didn't blink. The last species that ignored the warning, the Arathan. You can search for their homeworld if you like. It's no longer there. That silenced the room. After a long pause, Threx said, Enough. We don't gamble with shadows. We send a fleet, one of the admirals asked. To attack? Threx's eyes glowed. No, to test. We abduct more humans. Quietly, observe, examine. If they truly are dangerous, we'll know. If they're bluffing, we crush them, no one argued. The order was signed. Within hours. Fleet Unit D9 was on its way to Earth. It never came back. 36 hours later, only one escape pod drifted back into Zarn space. It was black, scorched. Dented from something sharp inside was a single survivor, Lieutenant Vark. His armor was half melted, his face pale and bloodied. He said only 2 words before falling unconscious. They knew. Medical teams rushed in. Security took the pod for analysis. Inside, the engineers found something worse than a body. They found a device, a simple black cube with a message engraved in Zarn language. Touch one of ours again, and we touch your stars. The room went quiet. On a hidden listening post near the edge of the Milky Way, a transmission was picked up by the Earth defense grid. A low signal, coded in an old Zarn language. It was a message from a dying ship. Transmission begins. This is Commander Trilax of Fleet D9. Do not approach Earth. They are not what we thought. We never made it to the surface. They boarded us before orbit. Something was waiting. Static, they didn't even fire. They shut us down, entered our minds. Stars bending, no engines, no sound. Just gravity where it shouldn't be. Static. They don't want war. But if we push... End of transmission back on Earth. A tall man listened to the recording from inside an underground room. Commander Aaron Miles. Beside him stood Captain Alara Miles. They were not related, or both carried the same title, Black Echo Operative, Fleet. 500 to 9 is gone, Miles said. What's the response time from the Empire? 3 days, maybe 2, Alara replied, if they decide to act fast. We can't hold the planet with what we have here, he said. We're not going to, she said calmly. We're not holding Earth. He looked at her. Then what? We're activating Zero. Miles didn't respond for a long time. Then, are you sure? Lara tapped her wrist. Across the system, a signal went out, deep under the surface of Mars. A black chamber opened. Inside it stood a figure still. UNMOV. Made not sleeping dash waiting. He was once human now. Something more, his name had been erased. Even Earth didn't record it. Anymore, just one label burned into the wall of the vault. Subject Zero, as the signal reached him. His eyes opened, bright white. No pupils, no voice spoke. No alarm sounded. He simply moved up.out. Toward Earth, in the Zarn Council chamber. Panic had started. Fleet D9 had been fully wiped out. Only one message, no survivors. The Council debated action. Some demanded war, others demanded retreat. But then, another signal arrived. From one of their deep-range satellites near the Sol system, it was automated. Quiet, but very clear. Unidentified object has left Mars' surface. heading towards Zarn space. No known drive signature. Estimated arrival, 36 hours. As Threx stared at the screen. Just one object? Yes, Supreme Admiral. Then destroy it. No, sir, said the analyst, sweat forming on his ridged head. Can't lock onto it. It's not flying. It's falling through gravity wells. As if physics bends around it. Leaned back. A voice in the chamber finally said what everyone feared. This might be Subject Zero. Silence. Threx stood. Prepare the defense grid. Alert every station. And do not engage unless fired upon. He didn't say the rest out loud. He was beginning to understand. This wasn't a battle anymore. This was a warning. Back on Earth, in a high-orbit stealth station, Commander Miles stared at the stars. Alara stood next to him. They'll be afraid, she said. They should be, he replied. You think Zero will talk? No, Miles said. It doesn't talk. It shows. Alara nodded slowly. Then the galaxy's about to learn. A message was sent out from Earth, not to the XR, to everyone. A single sentence. We asked to be left alone. And below it, a second line. This is your final chance to listen. Far beyond Subject Zero past the moon. No ship, no armor. No weapons. Just a man-shaped figure in black, moving through space faster than any known ship, folding the stars. Around him like cloth, and still, and not a single word spoken. But the message was clear. You thought humans were harmless now. You remember why you were supposed to be afraid? The capital planet of the Zarn Empire, Zelnine, was glowing with defense lights. Red beams lined the sky. Shields pulsed over every major building. For the first time in nearly 500 cycles, the Empire had activated planetary lockdown protocol. But it was already too late. Subject Zero had entered the system. There was no ship, no signal, just a silent shadow moving faster than physics allowed. It bent gravity as it passed. Sensors couldn't track it. Weapons couldn't lock on. Even time itself seemed to slow when it drew near. Supreme Admiral Threx stood in the central defense tower. His claws twitched. Where is it now? He asked. The sensor officer swallowed. Just crossed outer orbit. 10 million kilometers. Closing fast. Has it fired anything? No, sir. Still no weapons. No energy output. Threx slammed a hand on the table. Then it's not an attack, it's a message. Earth is bluffing again. No, sir, the sensor officer said. Softly this time. I don't think they are. The room fell silent. A second screen lit up. A live feed somehow. A camera drone had picked up Subject Zero as it moved closer. It looked like a man-human shape, but not normal. His body shimmered like dark glass. His eyes glowed white. Was no mouth, no suit, no oxygen. Just him. No one knew how he was alive. No one wanted to ask. Back on Earth, Commander Aaron Miles stood in a dark observation room. Watching the same footage, Alara entered quietly. He's arrived, she said. Miles nodded, and still no one's listening. They won't, she replied. Not until they see. He didn't answer. She stepped forward. We should have stopped it sooner. Miles kept his eyes on the screen. We didn't start this. We warned them. Alara sighed. You think he'll go all the way? It doesn't stop, Miles said. He just shows them. On Zelnine, every ship was airborne. Thousands of fighters swarmed the skies like metal insects. Giant cruisers hovered above cities. Ground cannons turned toward the sky. Subject Zero kept coming. 10,000 kilometers, 5,000, 1,000 still. No weapons then. Stopped. Just above the upper atmosphere, he floated there, watching, waiting. Every camera locked on him, across the Empire. Trillions watched the broadcast. No words, no message, just presence. Threx stood in silence. Do we fire? The weapons officer asked. Threx didn't answer. Then a screen blinked. One word. Burned into every monitor. Every tablet, every ship console across the Zarn network. Listen. And then everything turned off. Every screen, every light, every engine, even the defense grid. The entire planet went dark. Ships dropped from the sky. Gently, no crashes, no death. Just silence. Subject Zero hovered above the still world, doing nothing but saying everything inside the darkness. People cried, some prayed. Some sat frozen in fear, and then a second word appeared. ENOUGH. 10 seconds later, the power returned. All systems restarted. No damage, no virus, no explosions. Everything worked as before, except one thing. The arrogance was gone. At the Galactic Council and Neutral Zone for the galaxy's most powerful civilization's emergency. Meetings were held. Ambassadors shouted over each other. He didn't destroy anything, but he could have. That's the point. We've never seen power like that. They said Earth was backward. They lied. No, said one ambassador softly. They hid, because they were scared of us. And now. The room fell silent, and now the ambassador said we're scared of them, on a jungle. World near the edge of the galaxy, a small child watched the broadcast from her home. Her mother turned it off quickly. Never look at him again, she said. If you see someone like that, you run. Is he a monster? The child asked. The mother was quiet for a long time. No, she said. Something worse. In the ruins of a dead system where only ash remained, a pirate gang watched the replay in horror. One of them spoke. We attacked a human ship last week. Everyone turned to look at him. You what? We thought it was a cargo runner. Easy target, but it never showed up. No one said a word. Then someone muttered, what if he knows? The others began packing up their gear, running, hiding, as if space itself had turned against them. Back on Zell 9, Threx stood at the edge of his private quarters, watching the stars. No one spoke to him. No orders were given. Subject Zero had left Jest. Vanished. He didn't fire a weapon. He didn't speak a word. And yet, message echoed across the galaxy like thunder. You don't hurt humans. Ever Threx picked up a recorder. He spoke slowly. This is Supreme Admiral Threx, Zarn Empire. From this moment forward, Earth is not to be scanned, touched, or approached by any Zarn vessel. Any violations will be treated as acts of suicide. He paused, then added, we thought humans were harmless. We were wrong. We regret everything. He turned off the recorder, and for the first time in his long career, felt fear, real fear. Far away, hidden deep inside a silent nebula subject. Zero hovered between two stars. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. He didn't need to. He simply waited because one day, someone would forget. Someone always did. And when they did, he would remind them quietly, permanently, because Earth didn't want war. But it would never be weak again. Ever. In the weeks that followed Subject Zero's silent warning, the galaxy changed. Not through war, through fear. Dozens of species erased Earth from their star maps. Trade routes were redirected to avoid the Sol system. Scout missions vanished without explanation. Some claimed they were warned off by a voice in their heads. Others simply never returned. No one dared say Earth's name out loud anymore. They called it the Blue Zone, Unspoken Zone, the place you don't go, but Earth wasn't. Finished, because while the galaxy was panicking, Earth was planning inside a secure base beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Commander Aaron Miles met with Earth's Global Defense Council. The chamber was quiet, circular, deep below the ocean floor. Holograms flickered around the room, data streams. Fleet positions, black site reports. One message hung in red above them all. Phase 2. DEFCON 0 activation approved. Elara Miles stood beside Miles, hands behind her back. They're backing down, one counselor said. The galaxy got the message. Do we really need Phase 2? Miles didn't blink. They backed down because they're afraid. Fear fades. Elara nodded. They'll forget, and when they do, they'll test us again. Another counselor leaned forward. What exactly is DEFCON 0? Miles answered calmly. It's not about destroying anyone. It's about making sure no one ever forgets again. He pressed a button. A 3D map of the galaxy appeared. Covered in glowing blue dots, Earth outposts, secret ones, built quietly over decades, hidden under moons. Inside gas giants, even beneath alien cities. They thought Earth was still on one. Planet, Alara said. They were wrong, Miles added. We have the tech. We have the reach. Now we use it not for war, but for balance. Silence. Then the council voted. Unanimous. DEFCON 0 was live. 1 week later, a galactic council. Transmission went out to over 400 civilizations. It was short and final. Earth will no longer hide. Our species is not for study, conquest, or manipulation. We will not provoke, but we will always respond. Let the stars be equal, or let them burn. Signed. HFY Global Oversight Codename, DEFI and DRs, in a distant mining colony on the outer rim. A group of traders heard the message. They laughed. They're bluffing again, one said, sipping from a glowing glass. Another shrugged. Maybe, but I'm not taking chances. I canceled my Mars contract. Why, I asked. They don't attack unless you cross them. The second trader leaned in. My cousin worked in the Zenthus Syndicate. They tried to clone a human for study. 3 days later, their lab vanished. The entire asteroid, gone. Explosion? No, just gone. Like something peeled it out of reality. The first trader didn't laugh after that. On a dark world inside Zarn space, a hidden rebel group met in secret. They had been planning for years to overthrow the Empire. But now they had a new name whispered in their ranks. Earth. They allies? One rebel asked. No, said the leader. They're not friends. They don't take sides. Then why would they help? Because they hate empires. Because they hate oppression. Because they remember what it's like to be the small one in the room. That night, a signal was sent to Earth. Encrypted. Silent. It simply read, "Teach us how to be strong like you." Earth never replied. But a package arrived 3 days later. It contained a ship blueprint and a note. Defend your own. On a peaceful planet called Theria, the ruling council debated whether to resume contact with Earth they had long admired. Humans, their art, their stories, their strange balance of kindness and violence. We should open our gates, one counselor said. Invite them. Learn from them. Another hesitated. And risk angering them? The oldest among them stood. Her voice was weak, but steady. Long ago, we left Earth alone. It was our choice. That is why we are still here. She paused. Let others make noise. We will listen. The vote was clear. Tharia would remain neutral and silent. Meanwhile, subject. 0 had disappeared. No one knew where, but rumors spread. A rogue warlord in the Blix sector tried to restart the slave trade. His station was found empty, every captive released. Every system disabled, but no sign of a fight. Just one message burned into the walls. Humans don't serve, they rise. Another report told of a mercenary group hired to assassinate an Earth ambassador. The group disappeared before the job began. Their ship was later found adrift, no crew. Only static playing over the comms, a voice whispering, "You don't touch ours." No one claimed responsibility, but everyone knew it was him. It was 0. Inside Earth's high-orbit station Sentinel-1, Miles and Alara looked out at the stars. Below them, Earth spun peacefully, but around it, the galaxy trembled. Do you think this lasts? Alara asked. No, Miles said. Someone will forget. They always do. But now, she said, we're ready. He nodded. For years we hid. We laughed with them, played dumb, let them call us primitive. And now, he looked at her. Now we let them remember. A quiet pause. Then Alara said, the stars. Used to scare us. Miles smiled. Now we're what the stars fear. Behind them on the command screen, a message blinked in white. DEFCON 0. Active status. Stabilizing galaxy response. WATCH here. Wasn't alone anymore. Earth was. Everywhere. And for the first time in galactic history, no one dared underestimate a human again. A quiet moon drifted in the shadow of a dying star. It was forgotten. No cities, no ships, just rock and dust. But deep beneath its surface, something was watching, an ancient being, older than Earth's sun, older than light itself. It had no name nows, just silence. It had seen empires rise and fall, galaxies shift and rot. And for eons, it slept until now, until Earth woke it, until he woke it. Subject Zero. The entity opened its mind. It felt the ripple in space, the fear, the order Earth had created, and it felt something else, a threat, not to the galaxy, to itself. On Sentinel-1. Earth's main orbital defense station, alarms rang quietly, not red, not blaring, just a soft, cold tone. Alara glanced up from her console. Something's wrong, Commander Miles turned. Another empire acting up? No, she said. This is different. There's no fleet. No weapons. She tapped a few controls. The screen zoomed in on a dead zone in Sector 87. No signals, no. Readings just static, until now. Now there was a pulse, a cold, slow beat. Like a heart waking up after a long sleep. Miles stared at it. We never touched that system. Alara nodded. No one did. The Zarn called it cursed. Then why is it waking up now? He asked. Her screen blinked. A new signal appeared. One word. Ancient. Not an Earth language. It's not in any known tongue. But every system translated it the same way. Challenge. The Galactic Council met again. Most delegates had not slept in days. Even across light years, the signal had reached them. Everyone had felt it. Not heard, felt one ambassador. A six-eyed Omiari elder shook his head slowly. That word has not been used in 10,000 cycles. Another leaned forward. Do you think it's aimed at Earth? A third said softly. No, it's aimed at their weapon. At the human they unleashed. Silence. The council's lead spoke. Then we must warn Earth. The Omiari elder replied. They already know. Subject Zero stood atop the great crater on Mars. Wind whipped across the red rocks, but it didn't touch him. He didn't breathe. He didn't blink. He simply felt. And then he turned his head. No movement. Just presence. A voice echoed inside his mind. Old, slow, deep as gravity. You are not the first to rise. He said nothing. You believe yourself unstoppable. You are only young. Still no reply, the voice continued. Come to me, or I will come to you. Then it faded. Subject Zero looked to the stars and moved back on Earth. Chaos grew. Not from panic, but preparation. Miles called emergency command meetings. DEFCON Zero shifted from stabilizing to critical alert. Every satellite turned toward the ancient moon. Dozens of fleets were moved, but nothing changed. The signal remained the same. One word. Challenge. Miles stood in the war room. Ilata beside him. We don't know what it is, one general said. We know enough, Miles replied. Whatever it is, it waited until Earth rose up. Now it's reacting. Ilara frowned. Why now? Miles looked at her. Because we tipped the balance. This galaxy used to be chaos. Now it's order. Some things, he added. Hate. Order. Subject Zero entered the ancient system. Alone, he didn't bring ships. He didn't need weapons. He was the weapon. The dead star pulsed. Once as he arrived, the moon cracked, slowly like ice breaking under pressure. A black light oozed into space. It wasn't energy. It wasn't matter. It was absence. And then it spoke. Not in words, but in memory. Subject Zero saw images flashes of ancient wars. Civilizations burned out of time, being shattered by something that didn't follow rules, something that unmade. And then it showed him a mirror, not glass, an idea, what he could become, what he might already be. Subject Zero didn't react. He just waited. And then he responded. One word, burned into the stars. Nitrogen, monoxide. The void roared. Stars blinked out. The ancient thing rose, massive, shifting, impossible to look at. It wasn't made of atoms. It was made of fear, on Earth. The sky flickered. Just for a second, all over the world's cities, forests, oceans, the air shimmered like heat over metal. People looked up and knew something terrible had arrived. But no, attack came, just silence. Then across every screen, one word appeared. DUL. Ilara stared at it. This is personal. This isn't war. Something else, Miles said. It's a test. For what? To see if humans are meant to rise. She whispered, and what if we fail? Miles didn't answer. The final duel began on the edge of space. No. Ships, no armies. Just one human against an ancient darkness. Subject Zero moved first, faster than light, sharper than time. The void struck back slower, but heavier than gravity. Older than pain, they collided between two stars. Silence shattered. Light bent for 1 second. Every sentient being in the galaxy felt it. A flash in their minds, a human face, and a whisper. Remember what we are. Then it was gone. The battle continued in silence, but the outcome was not yet known, in a hidden part of Earth's moon. An ancient vault opened. It was not alien, it was human. Inside it, machines, Epshumem, 8. Old tech, built before Earth united. Built. Before Subject Zero, a recording plate, a voice comm, measured. Aaron Miles. If you're hearing this, it means Earth has been challenged by something not of this time or any time. This is our message to the stars. He paused. Humanity does not seek conquest. We do not seek worship. We do not want war. A long breath, but we will not go. Back into the shadows. Not now. Not ever. A final line echoed. We were quiet once. Now we are the storm. And as the stars watched the duel, they wondered, would the storm survive the void? Would the galaxy return to silence once more? There was no sound. There was no light. Only two forces clashing beyond what the mind could. Grasped Subject Zero and the ancient void circled each other between dead stars. The duel had no beginning, no end. It simply was. One was forged from humanity's rage, pain, and will to survive. The other was older than time, beyond language, beyond matter. It had ended galaxies before Earth even cooled. They fought in silence, and the galaxy watched. On Sentinel-1. The station shook, not from impact, from something deeper. Reality itself seemed thin. Ilara stared at the main screen. It didn't show anything, just static. But she couldn't look away. They're still locked in, she whispered. How can we even understand a fight like that? An officer asked. We can't, Miles replied. But we can feel it. And they did, all across Earth. People paused, soldiers, scientists, children, leaders. Something deep inside told them this was it, the final moment, a choice, a test, inside the void. The ancient entity tried to break Subject Zero's mind. It whispered forgotten truths, showed him dying Earths. Showed him futures where humanity lost itself, where it became machines. No monsters. Slaves. It offered peace. No more pain, it said. No more fear. No more war. Just silence. Zero didn't move, didn't blink. Then he whispered back one word, never. And that word burned brighter than 1,000 suns. Not because it was loud, but because it was human. The void tried again. This time, it changed shape, became faces. A young girl he once saved, a dying enemy soldier who begged for mercy, his own reflection. You can't carry this forever, it said. You're alone. But Zero remembered something. A sound, not a weapon, not an order. A laugh from years ago, in a dark prison, when he thought he was broken. A child had laughed, just once in the dark. And it reminded him. He wasn't alone. He never was. On Earth, the oceans calmed, the winds stopped, animals paused, everything ... waited. A signal flashed across human networks. A single frame, a live feed. Static ... Then a blur, then a shape. Zero, floating in the dark, surrounded by shifting shadow. But now his eyes glowed, not with rage. With clarity, he wasn't just a weapon, he was a message too. Every being watching every empire, every ruler, every forgotten species hiding in the dark. The message was clear. We are here, and we choose to live. The void screamed. Stars flickered out like dying candles. The air cracked. Subject Zero raised his hand, not in anger, in understanding. He had seen its loneliness, its hunger. It wanted silence. It's not because it hated life, but because it had forgotten what life felt like. He let it see Earth, the colors, the music, the fight, the mess, the people, the pain, the beauty. He let it feel. And for a moment, the void paused. Across the galaxy, something shifted. Not war, not invasion. Balance. Civilizations that had once mocked Earth began to whisper its name with respect, not fear. Respect. The Galactic Council passed a new resolution, one word in every language: equal. Empires restructured, alliances reformed. Even the oldest species began sending messages earthward, not to command, to learn, in the silent void. The ancient entity slowly receded. It had not been destroyed. It had not been beaten. It had been shown something it had forgotten: hope, and it left behind one final whisper: remember me. Then it was gone. The stars flickered back to life. Subject Zero floated, lone again. But he smiled, just slightly. Back on Earth, alarms went quiet. Ilara stood from her chair, staring at the returning data. Miles entered the command room. Well, he asked. He did it, she said softly. No weapon, no fleet. Just one of us. Miles nodded. Sometimes that's enough. They stood in silence. Then Ilara asked, do you think the galaxy will leave us alone now? Miles gave a small smile. No, but they'll think twice. 1 week later, Subject Zero returned. Not in a ship. He simply walked into the Earth's embassy on Mars. Everyone froze. He said nothing, just nodded and left. No one stopped him. No one dared. From that day forward, his name was never used again. He was called only one thing: the human ghost. Years passed. New planets were settled. Peace held not because of fear, but because of memory. The memory of the time the weakest species stood against the void and didn't blink. Earth became a symbol not of power, but of possibility. And in the great halls of the new galactic accord, one statue stood at the center. Not of a warlord, not of a general, but of a human, head bowed, eyes glowing faintly at the base, carved in 1,000 languages. They thought humans were harmless. They were wrong. We are the storm that speaks. We are the silence that answers. We are defenders. And across the stars, the story was never forgotten. Humanity had risen, and the galaxy would never be the same.